Hi, my name is Carl.
And I'm Ebony.
And
And
this
this
is
is
The
The
Loveless
Loveless
Marriage.
Marriage.
Hi, welcome back to the Loveless Marriage Podcast. Another lovely Monday morning, afternoon, night, whenever you're watching.
Or
Um,
listening.
Listening. My name is Carl Butler, here with my wife.
Ebony Butler.
And we welcome you all back to the Loveless Marriage Podcast. 13 questions to ask before I do part 2. On the first part, we got through 5 questions, the first 5 questions, as far as what to ask before you say I do. And so tonight we want to finish addressing the 13 questions to ask
Tonight.
before tonight, this morning, afternoon, whatever.
Good morning this evening.
13 questions to ask before getting married. Once again, all the preliminary stuff, so like the video, give us a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up button down there.
Thumbs up.
Subscribe to the video if you're not subscribed to our channel yet. Also, follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course, YouTube at The Loveless Marriage. Our name is the same across all social media platforms, The Loveless Marriage. And so we're going to wrap up tonight, this morning, afternoon, whatever.
Oh, and I will say this. Invite your friends and
Yeah.
to subscribe to us too. Just
Invite your friends.
don't be selfish and just try to hog all of this love that we give y'all to yourself. Invite your friends. And I will say this. Thank you to our 100th follower on IG. I know the people be like, really? But that's a big deal because you don't have to follow people. So thank you. Thank you.
We appreciate
Thank you. We appreciate the love.
Yeah, so we are jumping in right into question number 6.
I'm sorry, I'm silly today.
Oh my gosh. What is the most you're willing to spend on what you love?
I ain't gonna say what you love. I'm gonna
What
say
you
like,
passionate about.
how much you willing to spend on a car?
Okay.
How much you willing to spend on that brand new couch? How
Okay.
much you willing to spend on shoes, clothing? And this one is gonna rub the elder the wrong way. How much you willing to spend on cologne? Because, everybody's priorities is different when it comes to what they like. So you might not like what I like, and I might not like what you like, but there's a cost. Come on, somebody. There's a cost. So how much are you willing to pay for the things that you like? And that already, and I will say, let your spouse, significant other, love of your life, get what they want. Let them have their own hobby. Let them have their own thing. Everybody needs their own outlet. Everybody needs that, everybody has their own little thing that's theirs that they like. So I like shopping. Shopping makes me happy inside. I get warm and fuzzy. Like I see lights and stars. I see myself in the outfits and the shoes. I see my hair. I see all of that.
Something that makes her happy brings me so much pain.
Lies.
Brings me so much pain.
The lies he tells.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't know. What brings him pain is because he thinks I have too many clothes, and I don't. Carl doesn't understand the importance of the wardrobe. It's important. Hence, I like to buy clothes, not just for myself. I buy clothes for everybody, but I like to shop for Carl too. So I think that's something that he's just not accustomed to yet. But
I had to tell her to stop.
buying him socks.
I said socks, ties. I said, do you see my tie rack? My tie rack is full. There's no more room. I'm
And I
doubling up
said,
on hooks.
We're gonna buy another one.
said,
I
cut
mean,
it out.
get your life. It's a $20 tie rack. Another $15 tie is gonna get hung on it. Okay, boo. Yes, your sock game got to be on point. But what Carl is forgetting to tell you all that he will spend $200 on a bottle of cologne.
But I have it. I'm willing, but I have not. I have not. The most I spend,
And a gun. He'll buy a $300-$400 gun.
but that's different. It's one.
Lies.
It's just one.
But it don't matter.
And then that's for the house
That is not for the house.
because it protects everyone.
Lies.
But as far as the cologne goes, I get my cologne from fragrancenet.com, whatever. I still budget shop. I still, I get last year's cologne, whatever, because I have
He don't want to do this, y'all. Carl was like I said, like I said, Carl will spend $200 on a bottle of cologne,
But I haven't.
but you will. But to
Eventually.
buy clothes, no.
Eventually.
That's why I shop. I do the shopping.
So,
But God has gifted. Now let me say this to you too, people. God, honestly, and Carl's gonna laugh, I believe God gifts people in certain areas. So I believe, and you're probably laughing at me, but I don't care. I believe that God has gifted me in shopping because, and you can attest to this, I have gone in the store, and I probably get this from my mama. She's gonna laugh and dog me after this podcast. But I do what my mom does. I'm like, Lord, I'm going in the store. I need you to help me find some good deals. And I'm not being funny. I'm being serious because we have children and we have bills. We have expenses. And I want to look nice. And I believe you can look nice on a budget.
she prays about deals.
Yes. Yes, I do. I do pray about shopping deals. Don't come for me because I have bought this man a whole suit, a Kenneth Cole whole suit. Don't play with me for $50. Don't play with me. I have the gift.
I'm gonna sip on this cranberry.
Sip on that cranberry. Clean them kidneys out. Clean them kidneys. Yes, I am gifted. I have bought in ties for 2, 3, 4. I have the gift. And don't play, Carl. You even be like, baby, you're good. Don't even play.
No, you're good. I didn't say that.
I got the gift.
I just don't think it's a prayable moment.
God understands my heart. He knows what we need in this house. He knows what we need in these streets. So, but no, seriously, we joking about it. But seriously, if your spouse likes to do crafts, if they like to do scrapbooking, if they are a book collector, if they love listening to books on audio, like I said, Carl loves guns. So if they, Lord, have a gun collection. If your man or woman is a golfer, bowling, whatever, ask them, how much are we willing to spend? What is your budget for this monthly? Because that's a big deal. Now, Carl will tell you, I don't get carried away. I don't get carried away. I have my own budget. And when he asks me, I will release the figure that I feel that is needed for that month.
She will release the figure.
Every month it changes, but there's a figure because, you got to go out. You got to have an outfit. I believe you got to have an outfit,
She is the...
What?
She is the Gordon Gekko of it's like she's on Wall Street. It's like every month, certain stocks rise and fall, like certain fashions. They got a deal this month. Now, I can't go over there this month because they have a...
That's right.
Okay.
You know?
You are the stockbroker of shopping.
But no, seriously.
She said, I will release the figures. I will release this year's projections.
That's right. That's right. Like I told Carl, I said by the end of this year, and he's like, I don't need this, but I'm like, shush. You don't know what you need. You don't know what you have need of. Hallelujah. I'm the guru.
The Lord will strike you.
I told him, and by the end of the podcast, you stupid. By the end of the year, you will have 6 to 7 new suits. Now, to him, it's excessive. It is not excessive. That is not excessive.
Have y'all ever seen Waiting to Exhale? You remember when they walked into his closet? That is how my miniature closet looks right now.
That's right.
Like, I don't...
Come on now. We're enlarging territory in 2018. You got to be ready to be enlarged. You got to be ready. Thank you. Your sock game is beautiful.
We're moving on to question number 7.
But just long yes, but we're joking about it. But no, seriously, have a budget, talk about it. If and have an honest, realistic figure. Don't just be saying I'm gonna spend $50 and you spend $200 every month on scrapbooking.
And I think this one is well, I was about to say this one is more on the ladies, but I can't say that because
men are just as bad.
It may not be clothes. It may not be and a lot of times, depending on the age and the mindset, it could be Jordans. Mm-hmm. They could buy 2 pair of Jordans a month. Ooh. Jordans cost $200. That's $400 a month. Father God. It could be PlayStations. It could be Xbox. It could be video. Those games are $60, $70 a pop. So have a real discussion and be honest. Be honest with them before you get married and say, listen, I spend $300 a month on games. I spend $300 a month on shoes. I spend $300 a month on going
out to eat.
whatever.
Right.
Just be honest, so that y'all can put that into like
that may be
fun
your own
bucket,
personal account.
Yeah, put it into a separate account and say how much money do we have in the fun account to have fun with this month,
right?
And do what works for you,
right?
But and this is the reason for this. It's not to try to tell you how to govern your finance or how to govern your relationship, but it's just saying have the conversation. You know,
right.
If you can just have the conversation before you get married, before you say I do, life will be much better for you. So, yes. Question number 7, we're looking at: can you handle me having a life of my own? This is,
oh my God, you gotta come with me.
Huge. Now I'm gonna start because I'll probably have the least to say about this, because or maybe not.
You ain't gonna have. You gonna talk about this
when you say can you handle your spouse having a life of their own? I'm an introvert, so Ebony is a extrovert, and I don't think we're extreme, but it's who we are. Mm-hmm. So me being an introvert, marrying an extrovert, I knew coming in, there'll be times where she say, babe, I'm going with the girls this weekend, or I'm going with the girls shopping today, or I'm going, and I am fine with it because I am an introvert.
I need you not to be too excited. Father God.
My happy place is when I'm all
by myself.
But see, listen, you have to, and I'm like that. I'm not saying every introvert is like that, but you have to be okay with your spouse having a life outside of you. Just this past weekend, we were talking to a young lady who just got engaged.
Yes.
And we were saying, you know, she was saying that she has a wonderful relationship with her mother and other friends, and that's good because one of the mistakes that we make, and I made this in my first marriage, is that I tried to make my wife my everything. I tried to make her my friend, my confidant, my sister, my mother, my best friend, my lover. Like that one.
You might
person,
get some debate on this one.
That
by
one,
what you just said.
Huh?
You might get some debate. Somebody might say,
no,
they got to be everything.
No, I'm just saying that one person cannot be your everything because it's going to drive them crazy. Think about this. Can you be everything at your job? Can you hold every position? They have hired 10 different positions, 10 different people to fill those positions because one person. Show me one organization, show me a basketball team, a football team, as great as Tom Brady is, quarterback, he cannot throw the ball to himself. He has to have a different position, somebody that can fill that position. If it's like that in business, if it's like that in sports, if it's like that in family, you know, even in family, mom can't be, I know we say it, mom and dad, but and I know that in respect to single mothers, I know that you're thrust into that and you have to be sometimes, but I know
you weren't designed and created for that.
Yeah, it wasn't designed like
the
that.
dual role.
And most women would tell you, I need a man to show my son how to be a man. I need a man to show my daughter how a man should treat a woman.
Exactly.
So if it's not like that in business, not like that in sports, not like that in family, how do we think marriage is any different? And I don't care what Bible scriptures you post. Nowhere in the Word of God does it say your spouse has to be your everything. I've never read that. Two become one, but that they still have a life. Like they still have. You still have to have a support system. I don't understand all the female emotions, and I'm so glad Ebony has girlfriends, her mom, her sister. I'm so glad she has that outlet because if she came to me with it, me being a man, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like because that's just me. I don't understand that stuff. Like even my daughters, you know, they can't talk to me about everything. I would love for it to be like that, but they just can't because I don't understand what it's like for a young lady to go through puberty or go through dating and having their heart broken. I'm just like, just move on. You know, there's another guy, and it comes off cold, but I'm a man, so that's how I'm going to respond.
But also, I will say that though, even with regards to talking to our girls, the one thing that you do provide to them is a male perspective.
Yeah.
And they need to hear that. Yeah. So I will say that. And I will say, you know, can you handle doing things without your spouse or because there are some relationships that I know that husbands and wife honestly do everything together.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do, that's wonderful because that works for you and you're comfortable with that. But then there are times, um, and I'll be honest with Carl, when he and I first got married, I don't want to say it was a difficult thing, but with the introvert and extrovert was going out with friends. I will say that.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. So we had to sit down and we when I say we literally sat down and we discussed, I said, how many outside activities are you going to be willing to go and do? Because, some people, they always want their spouse with them when they go out with their friends.
Matter of fact, we just talked about that
Yes, we did.
today, and Ebony was saying that someone is hosting something, and it's for couples, and I was like, so I guess we're going to that, huh? She was like, yeah, that'll be your one outing for the month. But see, you also have to learn how to flip that and say,
Right.
I can't always be like I've been. I have to participate
Yes.
to make my spouse happy.
Right.
And so sometimes it's like a
give and take.
flip-flop. Yeah, give and take. Sometimes you got to leave your spouse alone when they want it. And then sometimes you got to bend and say, now I need to do what makes them happy. Because, it's a balancing act. It really is.
It
and
really
also
is.
what came to mind is that we're in a blended family. I didn't have kids. Ebony had kids from a previous marriage. Are you comfortable with the biological parent going off doing things and then you're left with the kids? Are you
True.
comfortable?
That's good. That's real
Are you
good.
comfortable in that situation? Because a lot of times people love the mate but don't like the kids.
Right.
So you gotta
That's
know.
good.
You gotta know, does this person love me and my kids, or do they just love me and they're just willing to accept my kids?
Or they tolerate your children. They tolerating your children. And
Yeah.
I will say, what I said with what I was going to say, like what you and I do, we both agreed that, if twice a month for couples activity is Carl's limit. And I'm respectful of that. And one thing we both said that, and I don't want to shed light, like, to be mean, but there are even some relationships where husband and wives may not even sit together at like functions. They, and I might want my husband to sit next to me and he may not feel, or you might have a dude that's like, no, we sit wherever, even talk about that. You think it's small and stupid, but no, they might be like, I want to be my own person. I don't want to be cooped up under you the whole night. I want to mix and mingle. And you getting in and you all smile, and then when you get in the car, you like, you didn't sit next to me. You was talking to, no, talk about those things.
Yeah.
It sounds stupid because we're bringing it to your attention, but it's the stupid stuff that doesn't get addressed. And then when you talk about it, you're like, well, dag, I didn't know you wanted me to be up under you all night. I didn't know that, you wanted me to be with you during certain occasions, even as far as going to the doctor. It sounds stupid, Do you want your spouse to go to the doctor with you? Carl might be like, Ebony, I want you to come. And I might be like, no, I don't want you to go to the doctor with me. I'm okay. But nothing's wrong with that. Set those boundaries up, talk about those things. And I love the fact that, yes, I know I'm married, but my spouse is comfortable with me having a relationship outside of him.
Yeah.
He's comfortable with me. Like I come home, I make sure dinner's cooked. I talk to him, we converse, and I tell him, and I will say this, I'm respectful. I ask you, and it's not because I'm getting permission, so to speak. I'm being respectful. I think that's a dangerous thing when you're not respectful to your spouse.
Yeah.
Because I think you should talk to your spouse. I think you should let your spouse know where you're going. I think that you should be like, hey, babe, how do you feel about me going this? Because he might have something planned for you, or they or she might have something planned for you, but you didn't even ask them. So I will say that ask your spouse, talk to them, communicate with them, those things, so you guys are both on the clear playing field. Make sure that they're okay with, you having a life outside of them, not disrespecting the relationship. And I think it's great and wonderful. Like I said, Carl's cool. I know I can leave Carl. Like you said, I can leave him home with the girls. I don't always, but I know he's cool. They know how he flow. They'll come chit chat and then they'll go in their own room. They by themselves, except for London, because she's going to follow you throughout the house. But hey, yeah, just be respectful of your spouse and their need for their time away from you.
And also, it's so much that came to mind while you were speaking that a lot of people don't think to address. Also, with that, a lot of people spend too much time away from
From
the
their
home
spot, right?
because you're always out with your friends. You're always, you know, you're always gone. That's not healthy. That's
Mm.
that's kind of annoying when it's every weekend, when it's every Thursday, every few times a week. That's kind of annoying, and it can be an overload, and especially speaking from us coming from like the church world, when you have to see the friends in church, and then you hang out with them on Sunday after church, and then
Right.
and then y'all go out on Saturday. Like it can start to be a bit much. So it's also there also has to be like a certain level of balance and respect there to say, wait a minute, I haven't spent any time with my wife. I haven't spent any
Right.
time with my husband. You see your friends 3-4 times a week, and you haven't spent any time with your spouse. There's something wrong with that. It's like
Right.
there really is. So you have to learn to balance. Also, for the
Mm.
introverts, you have to be willing to. For me, what helps is finding other people I get along with,
Yes.
and because
Yes.
wherever we go, like the outing we're going to, I'll always ask Ebony, who from our circle is going to be there. That's my first question.
Yes.
Who's
All
going to
the
be there?
time.
Because I don't want to go and be uncomfortable with people I don't know. So if there's one or two people I know, I say, okay, cool. Like, I'll go. But chances are, if I don't know anybody there, the chances of me going are very slim.
Unless it's with me.
Slim to none.
Right. I have to be with him.
Like,
And but that's another thing about, like we talked about too. At first, you have to know your partner.
yeah.
And that's something I had to discover about Carl. I didn't, no offense, he's nice, quiet. I honestly thought that Carl was just quiet. I did not know until I asked questions, until I forgot how we even came to it. One day we just sat down and talked, and he was like, no. And it's nothing wrong if your spouse is like that. Again, learn, like we talked about, and like we talk about throughout the podcast. You have to learn your spouse. You have to learn to love this person. You have to learn what works. Like, relationships and marriage can work. You just have to learn each other and be okay with them being different,
Yeah. That's a
because
big thing.
that was a big deal for me. Like, sometimes I would freak out because he wasn't like me, and I would tell him, like, I'm not used to this. Something's wrong with you. And he was like, no, nothing is wrong with me. But for another woman out there or another man out there that is experiencing, nothing is wrong with them.
Yeah.
It's okay. You just have to learn, and only God, and I'm not trying to be all churchy, but only God can change your heart, and only God can help you see, like, it's okay that they're different from you, you know. But then there's other things that, Carl and I may be different in, but in certain things we vibe like butter and bread. We are good. I was trying to, I can't eat peanut butter
Peanut butter
because
jelly.
I'm allergic to peanut butter.
Okay.
I'm not going to use that analogy.
So if you're allergic to it, you can't use the analogy.
That's why I said butter and bread. Who doesn't like a nice warm piece of bread on butter? Don't see, he got me going. But no, seriously, just honestly say, learn how to work with being away from each other. And there's another telltale sign. You said something. If a man is always gone away from home, Carl has told me this, there may be a sign that he's not happy. And Carl was like, I like coming home to y'all. I'm good. And I know people like, that's taboo. No. If your husband does not like coming home, or he comes home extremely late all the time except for work, you might want to reevaluate some things. You might want to ask some questions. Or if your wife, if you don't see her till super late, those are some telltale signs that, hey, there's a breakdown. They might not have they might not be happy at home. And you might need to have a come to Jesus moment to figure out, hey, what can I do to rebuild and reposition our relationship so you can want to come home? Because I would hate to not like to come home. Like, I love coming home.
Yeah.
I love coming home.
Yeah. So ask the question, can you deal with me being gone? And be honest on both sides. Like,
Right.
and I think that's what these 13 questions don't matter if you're not going to be honest.
Right.
You know, if you're not going to be honest about it, they're not going to matter. No, don't say the answer that you think that
they
person
want to
hear. Give them your real answer. You know, let them deal with it. Let them process it. Maybe they can deal with it. You know, maybe they, you know, it's crazy. What came to mind, you know, we live in Atlanta, Georgia, and here I've heard guys say, I've told women I'm not going to be faithful, and they're fine with it. Because some women are willing to accept that. And a lot of women will tell you, if you'd have just been honest with me, like, it is what it is. But a lot of things fail because people are just not honest. That's it. You know, people respect honesty. They respect the fact that you can speak your truth.
Tell me the truth.
They can deal with your truth better than you fronting. So yeah.
Let me make a choice. Don't make my choice for me.
So that was question number 7.
7.
So moving on to question number 8 on the 13 questions to ask before I do is, oh my God.
Oh Lord.
I love this question. Do you like my parents? And let me just say this. Let me just say this. Do you like my parents? I ain't gonna lie.
You ain't gonna lie.
I ain't gonna lie.
You ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie either.
Life is short. Life is very short. You go into marriage thinking I ain't got to deal with their mama, I ain't got to deal with their daddy.
They sisters,
that's a lie.
They cousins, they aunties, they uncles, and them.
Because family can make your life difficult. If they don't like you and you don't like them, family can make your life. But I'm gonna say this.
Say it, brother.
I absolutely love Ebony's parents.
Oh.
We're good. I don't mind when
Hallelujah.
I don't mind when mama come down and visit, you know, cause and she's so respectful. You know, she'll actually call me and ask me, is it okay if I come down for this holiday or for that holiday? You know,
and my dad does too.
Yeah. Like they're, I think both our parents and our families respect our boundaries.
Yes, they do.
But we were raised right, so. No, seriously, like a lot
of
people.
They do.
A lot
they
of
really
people
do.
wasn't, you know, you have a lot of marriages where the wife tells the husband, or vice versa, the husband tells the wife, "My mama coming on this date."
Right.
They ain't asked them.
Right.
They haven't reached out.
Wow.
They ain't said, "Hey." They come into their house. They disrespect them. They don't
just
speak
pop
to
up.
them.
They got
because
the pop up ministry.
Like I'm telling you, this is. I think we should have put this at number 1.
This probably should have been. No, you're right.
Parents can make
and siblings
too.
Whew.
They can make or break a marriage.
Yes, they can. And I will say this: I absolutely love my in-laws. I do have a funny little thing though. So for me, and I talk about this often because I only can speak from my sphere of experiences. When Carl and I, where we were talking, I think we were kind of like pre-dating. I think we were like trying to play. Okay, I think we're gonna do it. You know, we're gonna date all the way. So he had asked me to go to his family's 4th of July cookout, and I was so nervous because this was my first time. Like, I saw his family in church when they came to hear him speak one time, but and he wanted me to meet him. Then I was like, we just friends. I ain't even. No, I'm not gonna do that. But when we got like more connected and more closer, you know, and I was like, okay, do you want me to bring my kids? And he was like, really? But no, I'm like, seriously, no, I want to know if you want to bring my kids. If you just want me to come or my kids, he's like, no, bring everybody. But I was so nervous and so scared because you don't know what these other people are thinking, you know. And his aunt made a little joke when she saw like each of the kids. She's like, oh. I thought that was the funniest thing. So I was like, I don't know if them some good O's or some bad O's, but oh well, we here. But his family from day one.
And it's funny because when you say that, I'm sorry, you can keep going the story, but
okay.
It really was like that because the girls are taller than one another. So it was like, okay.
But from day one, his family has embraced my girls. I'm trying not to cry. But his family has embraced my daughters. and his mom and his dad and his aunts and his uncles and his cousins. He has a wonderful family, like has embraced my family, and we don't have those issues, you know. I'm respectful of his family, you know. I'm like the type of person, like I want people to come over to my house. I want to have Carl's family over. He like, it's okay, they ain't gotta come over. I'm like, no, I want them to come over, and they will once we move, because we need a bigger house, because he has a huge family, and I love family. So I want to be able to accommodate everybody. So we'll be working on that next year. But I love his family. I love spending time with his family. They make me laugh. They make me feel a part. I don't feel like there's any disconnect there. You know, his mom or dad or his sister is not disrespectful. You know, my girls call his sister Aunt Allison or Aunt Allie, and they're good. You know, we call his parents Mama Butler, Papa Butler. We're good. You know, my mama calls Carl her son, and she loves him. She asks after, how are you doing, Ebony? How's my son? She asks probably about him more than she asks about me. But we are good on that front. And I think if you have that positive interaction, it helps.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, excuse my French, that can make your life a living hell. Yeah. And if this is going to be till death do you part, you got to bury this man or woman. You have to. Mm-hmm. And if y'all not clear, even when it comes to the burial of your spouse, that is still their son and that is still their brother. Yeah. So you have to honestly have that positive enforcement, you know. And there's some relationships where, you know what, y'all might not get along. Y'all have to learn how to. So I would say, you know what, if there is a situation where the mom might not like you, the grandmama might like you, learn how to get along. Yeah. Because the Bible does tell you to leave and to cleave to your spouse. Yeah. The Bible, if the Bible tells you, the Bible don't tell you that your husband got to be your best friend, but the Bible does tell you that you must leave and cleave your family. Yeah. And leave and cleave to your spouse. So if God was very intentional about that, you better dang near be as intentional about that in your own relationship.
And you know what? And just to have kind of a transparent moment, and I'm going to give this advice to anyone that's dating someone with kids, and you may not have kids when you introduce them to your family for the first time. I don't know if I use wisdom in that aspect, because, and I said it because my family's cool. So like my family, they just, when we get together, laugh, have fun, whatever. Right. And they're accepting of who we bring around. You know, they're going to question you. They're going to do the family thing. They're going to grill you. But, you know, it's just, I just come from a very unique family. You know, my mom has 9 brothers and sisters, I believe, and so they're all about family. Yes. And just huge family. On my dad's side, they have 11 brothers and sisters, so I have 2 huge families on both sides of me. But I will say this, when you're, and please don't take offense to this, people with kids, but use wisdom when you're introducing a potential mate to your family when you don't have kids and they do. Right. Maybe it might not be smart on that first meeting to bring your kids, because you want your family to get to know them. And you know, hindsight's always 2020. And I look back even when Ebony speaks about that first meeting with my family, because the first thing my aunt could have been thinking is she got kids. Right. You know, and we're human. Right. You know, that's
a normal response.
That's not anything crazy. You know, most mothers don't want their sons to marry someone with kids, and vice versa. Most dads don't want their daughter to marry a man with a bunch of kids. Mm-hmm. You know, that's just human nature. And so, and I'm not saying my family is like that. I'm just saying to use wisdom when you introduce, and don't be offended. Don't be offended if someone says, I want to bring you around my family, but I don't want them to meet your kids right now, because I want them to get to know you instead of judging you by the fact that you have kids. Because as soon as you walk in the door, they could be thinking they got kids, and then that shuts down them wanting to get to know you. So don't take offense to that. Just my advice.
And I think you know your family too. Like you said, you got to know your family. Yeah. And I will say that know your family. Yeah. Don't be naive. know your family. And one thing I will say, when I met Carl's family, like I said, the first time I indirectly met one of his aunts, it was in the bathroom at church when he had to preach. So I was just being Ebony. I was like, oh, hi, how are you? You know, who you here for? She's like, oh, I'm here to hear my nephew. I'm like, oh, Carl, that was great. That was it. You know, I was nice. I was pleasant. She didn't know me from Adam, but even with that exchange, it was a pleasant exchange. So I knew somewhat, okay, his family is cool. She wasn't rude to me. Like I said, I would see his family at church from time to time, and they seem to be nice. Also, I will say this with use wisdom and even how your children are when first meeting them. I sat down and I talked to my girls too, because it is an important step in a relationship. When you meet someone's family, that's an important step. That's just not no run of the mill. Here you go, you know. And like I told Carl, you know, this ain't no dog and pony show, and my kids ain't cattle. Like if you are honestly going to be in our life, then, you know, I want to make sure that it's okay. And I know people say, well, you don't need your families, except he doesn't. But I know family's important. And if you are going in thinking it's not, you're blinded and you're deceiving yourself. Yeah. So I wanted to make sure too that, okay, are you sure these people are going to be okay with us? And they were okay, you know. And one thing that his family said, they were like, wow, you make Carl happy. Yeah. That was one of the first thing they said. They said, we have not seen him this happy in a long time. And that will speak to you as an individual. So know your value, know your worth. Don't be offended. Don't be ready to snap off. That doesn't mean that the person doesn't want you. But if they know their family, trust them. Yeah. Trust their judgment. Trust what they tell. Trust their judgment, because God forbid you go into a situation and this person didn't tell you anything about their family and they're drilling you. You walk out crying and you like, why didn't you tell me? Yeah. Well, no, you know your family. Use wisdom. Yeah. Use wisdom.
And also what came to mind is when you was talking about being smart and using wisdom of how to, you know, be introduced for the first time. Some people with kids, and you can speak to this, some people could go in with their guards up.
Oh yeah, my guard was up though, and I told him, I was like, they better not say, you know, I know they weren't gonna say. In my mind I was praying like, God, don't let them say nothing crazy. I even had my mama praying. I had my mom pray for me too before I went over there, because I'm like, these are my babies. I gotta protect my kids. So yeah, you have to be cautious. Yeah, this is your boo, but that's they, again, brother, cousin, uncle, nephew, son. Yeah. You have to guard yourself too, because you have to protect your children too. And keep in mind, I ain't trying to be funny, make sure your children are disciplined. Yeah. Because if they acting like monkeys and apes and disrespectful, people look at that. Yeah. And I'm sure, and Carl may not told me or want to tell me, I'm sure his family told him like, okay, yeah, she keeps their, you know, I mean, does a good job of the way she keeps the kids, or, you know, we never seen them. Pay attention to that. People watch that.
And it's also
a reflection on you too.
It's also the setting that you introduce kids into. Like if it's not a good setting, first introductory setting.
Come on, speak, brother.
To bring
let the tongues flow. Let the tongues flow.
Whatever. And so it may not be a good idea to bring kids for the first time to meet your family to something formal, because kids have energy. They're gonna want to run around. They're gonna want to
turn up.
Yeah. And so that may be perceived as the kids are bad. No, they're just
kids.
They're just kids. They don't want to sit at a formal dinner table and discuss Wall Street and that's not smart. Right. So also our first setting was July 4th.
Right.
For the 4th of July, I know that my family plays badminton. And so the girls played, you know, they just so happened to be on the winning team, which is the team I was on. But they had an outlet. Really? You know, it was a format to show their fun side, to show, you know, that they're just kids.
Right.
And so the adults could have been in the house talking, getting to know each other, and the kids outside playing.
Yep.
Make sure that the format is right, because sometimes
the setting means everything.
Yeah, sometimes people have a bad perception of your kids because you allowed them to be introduced in a bad format, right? In a bad setting. That's it. Yep. And so it's, oh my gosh, I think we could really write a book just on this, just because everything matters.
It does.
In that first meeting with someone with kids, everything matters. I would say, using wisdom once again, the first meeting, maybe the kids shouldn't be there, just because you want them to get to know that person. And then it depends on your family. It depends on, how how your family is.
And I'm saying they watching you too, and they're watching you how you interacted with your kids.
Yeah.
Best believe. So if your discipline style is unique and different, they watching you.
If on the first meeting you haul off and just
snatch them up,
your kid, they're like, oh, they violent.
They're like, wait a minute.
Like,
I can't do that. Right? They're like, we don't want as. They're like, nah, you ain't gonna be with our brother or nephew. So yeah, you have to.
Everything matters.
Everything matters, and just use wisdom.
Yeah,
definitely use wisdom.
So moving on to question number 9.
This is a big one too. Figuratively, literally.
How important is?
So stupid. I'll say it. I'm stupid.
How important is sex to you?
Yes.
How important is sex? So we're just gonna be quiet on that.
Like the elephant in the room. But no, this can literally make or break your relationship. Like,
okay,
you want to go first?
Okay, let's start here. Let's start with the age factor. Okay,
Ooh.
Let's start with the age factor. Now, if you're marrying someone, let's say you're younger. Let's say you're in between 25 and 30, and you're marrying someone over 40, over 50. Let's say that there's a good little age gap, and you expect them to have the sexual drive that you have. It might not happen. Just because we get older, I be messing with Ebony. I'm like, when I was 20.
Well, no, let me help you. But that's good though. No, but that is, you really need to be honest about your sexual drive, your expectations on how many times you need to have sex with your partner, what forms of sexual experiences you're okay with and what forms you're not okay with.
What is off limits to that
what
person?
Is off
what
limits?
Not doing?
Yeah, what I ain't gonna do and what I will do.
Yeah.
You need to honestly, that is even if you're a virgin and you may be a virgin and your partner may be very experienced.
Yeah.
Those things need to be talked about. Those needs to be discussed. And also, even with the age thing, women and men peak at different times. Yeah. So for women in our later 30ish, we might be on, we might be up there and you might not be able to keep up with him or she might not be able to keep up with you. Yeah. But no, those are the honest to God truth. And I say this, even if you it sounds so retarded. If you got to come up with a schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we do it.
Schedule that thing.
Oh God. Schedule your time with your mate. You might not like to cuddle. Like that certain stuff, honestly, you have to talk about it, because if you don't, it's going to drive you crazy, and sex will hinder your relationship.
And even
and the Bible even talks about your body is not your own.
Yeah.
Come on, somebody. So if Jesus can tell you, this is not your body. Mm-hmm. It belongs to your partner or your spouse. Y'all need to have a heart-to-heart and a truthful conversation.
And even what kind of came to mind is just, I lost my train of thought just that quick.
Shut your face.
I did, but I think when it comes, in our premarital counseling, that was one of the questions that was asked. How many times a week do you expect sex?
Right.
And so if one person says 5 and one person says 1,
You got
y'all gotta.
That's a
talk
weighted
about, y'all gotta talk about
scale.
this thing because it's. I'm telling you,
It's levels to this thing.
it's listen.
Right.
Everybody's different.
Everybody's
it doesn't
different.
mean somebody's right, somebody's wrong. Everybody's different. You know, some people have a higher sex drive. Some people have a way lower sex drive. You have to know these things going in, though. Going in, don't surprise. Now, in premarital counseling or whatever, don't say, "Oh yeah, 5 times a week," and then when you get married, is once every 2 weeks. You know, be honest.
That ain't right. That's disrespectful.
Like, be honest with that person. Like, be honest. That's all I can say. Be honest. You know, and then you have to talk. You have to talk about everything.
Right.
You have to talk. What's off limits? What do you expect? You have to know. Then
I agree.
And then you go through the process of learning that person.
Right.
Learning their body. Learning what satisfies them. Because what worked in previous relationships
may
not work in
for this
this
first one. Right.
So now you have to relearn every. Like, not like riding a bike, but you gotta.
It's like riding a bike. No, but serious.
Yeah,
and you have to be open to learning what they like.
Yeah.
Don't go in thinking you Tarzan or you She-Ra and you about to slay and conquer, because what you may have slayed and conquered in the past, they like.
You know, you don't like that?
They like, come again? Like, that's all. Like, really? But no. Ask them, talk to them, have those real, and I say in-depth conversations, and even, and I know this probably be touchy for some people, even sexual past and histories, even STDs.
Yeah.
No offense. Just because you like that person and you want to marry them and you feel like this is your wife, that's their choice if they want to accept. You may have a STD that is not curable. That is that other person's choice if they're willing to accept you. And I'm about to sound mean and nasty and evil and hateful, but I do not care. Do not take away someone else's choice. Yeah. You are selfish. Yeah. You are extremely selfish, rude, and disrespectful. If you know you've had certain issues, if you know you've been exposed to certain lifestyles and behaviors and you made some bad choices and decisions, be honest with your partner, because that's their choice. How dare you impose your lifestyle onto them and not be fully honestly in disclosing information, because people have killed people when they found out that you maybe was walking on the wild side, or you herpes, because you know there are STDs that keep on giving. There's them herpes and genital warts don't go away. Them friends keep on giving. Yes, they may have medicine that makes it not as bad, but no, don't impose that on your partner. You know, if you know that your HIV status, if you know you have AIDS, HIV, if you know you're dealing with certain, be honest. Let them make that decision.
And
sorry, but that's just, I'm passionate about that.
See, okay. I'm just sitting here like, okay. Like, that escalated quickly, but no,
I'm serious, because people aren't these last days, and I'm living in Atlanta too.
Everything is about being
honest.
God. Even, and I'm gonna say this,
Jesus.
Even if you're not sure if you just like one sex, like if you consider yourself, I'm bi, I'm tri, I'm
open,
and to try anything, or
right.
an open relationship, you need to address
talk about that
before you get married.
Yes, you do.
And a lot of people are not going to be honest about that question. They're not going to be honest about if you've ever been with the same sex, if you ever had threesomes, if you ever had like whatever. I'm telling you, be honest with that person, because people get killed over this stuff.
Yes,
like,
they
people
do.
It's crazy.
It's a dangerous. You are like the movie. It's a thin line between love and hate. That's dangerous. If you're into certain lifestyles of threesomes, tell your partner that, because they may not be into that stuff. I mean, like I said, we're not on here promoting premarital sex or anything like that, but certain things need to be talked about. Certain things need to be discussed, because you need to be honest.
Yeah.
You need to be honest. And with Carl and I, we even before we got married, we both had HIV testing. We shared our results with each other, because that was important to both of us.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm about to make a funny joke. Like, you know, Carl was like, one thing I appreciate about you, that you were a woman and you birthed kids. And I was like, what? And he was like, no, I know that you are a woman.
I said, when I was single, I said I was not marrying anyone, or I would have, but
you would have?
It was my request to God. I said, whoever I marry, I want them to have at least one child, because number one, I didn't have kids, so I did want kids, even if it was by marriage. Number two is that in this day and time, people can be born one sex
That's
and
right.
change into another. And I ain't bashing nobody. Don't take that as me bashing. I'm just saying, me as a man,
that's your choice.
I want someone. Don't take away my choice because you was born a boy and then you
made a choice to become a girl.
To become a girl.
Right.
I wanted someone who was born female. Period. Like I don't have to justify that. And it's sad we live in a day and age where you have to even say that. Like there's nothing wrong with wanting the opposite sex. So, but no, I said, Edmund, I appreciate you because you had kids. So I know you was born able to produce kids. So that's all I'm gonna say.
I got the parts.
No, as far as sex goes, there's a lot that goes into that.
Right.
You know, you have to make sure that you're not being selfish either. You have to make sure that you're actually satisfying your partner.
Right.
Like we said, the way you satisfy your ex or in a previous marriage relationship may not be the way that this person is satisfied. So you have to learn to adjust. Also, something to talk about in sex is that person's history with sexual abuse.
Right.
Because that is huge. Because a lot of people don't want to be touched. They want to love someone. They want to be married and in a relationship, but they don't like certain things in sex. Like you got to let people know, listen, when I was little, somebody tried to choke me. Don't try to put your hands around my neck while we're having sex, though. I'm telling you, these are conversations. You need to have a conversation where do you mostly make love? Do you like rough sex? Do you you have to have these conversations?
Do you want to be kissed? Some people don't want to be kissed. Don't kiss me on my mouth.
Yeah.
Some people might be like, I don't want to kiss. Don't kiss me on my mouth. Kiss me on my cheek. Kiss me everywhere. You need to know. Even the weirdest fetishes, you need to talk about those things.
Yeah.
Because again, with marriage, it is a choice. Marriage is a choice. You can be single or you can be married. It is a choice.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes down to sex, it is a choice. And you have to be okay with the information that you may receive.
Also, what came to mind is something I addressed in my book, Factors Dividing Boys from Men, is have this conversation. Can you separate sex and love?
Because they're two different
things.
Just because you have sex don't mean you love somebody.
And I looked at it like this. There's a study that says most boys, I think 90% of boys watch porn before they're 12 years old.
Right.
So very early, we learn to separate sex from love. We learn that sex has nothing to do with love. That's the reason grown men can get married and love their wife. Like they really love them.
Right.
But they can have sex with other women because they never made the connection between sex and love.
Right.
And I know there are going to be some women watching this that says, I know he loves me. I know he comes home, but I know he has other women. I know just something about him. He just has to have a variety, but I know this man loves me. But he never made the connection between sex and love. And that's a hard connection for men to make because we grow up at in a very young age watching women being degraded, watching women just having sex. And so we think that's what women want. it's demonstrated in teenage boys. You know, they don't
Right.
care. They think that women just want sex. And so, because that's the images they've been shown
Shown.
since they were 10 years old. And so, you have to know, can you be faithful? That's a question. Can you love me and think that you can still have sex with other women? That's a question a lot of women never ask, and it comes up. He says, "I love you, but I'm gonna be a man." And in his mind,
That's
he's
right.
thinking, "I'm being a man by conquering other women."
And I was going to say something too. When you said that young boys don't realize that pornography is not real.
Yeah,
It's people are getting paid.
yeah,
This is not real. This is not real life. This is a fictitious act. It is entertainment. They don't realize that. They think it's real. And I will say it's in a lot of marriages have this problem. You need to, and even some young females have been introduced to porn and you don't know. So if you need to ask your partner, hey, have you been exposed to porn? You know, what's the level of porn that you've been exposed to? I mean, this subject probably should have been number 2, but if you talk about it, you may be taking some layer. You don't know if they may have been exposed to child pornography.
yeah.
You don't know. That's stuff that you need to unravel. You need to unwrap. You need to talk about. You may need to have counseling. Carl touched on it before, but even with your partner, you know, what happens if you marry someone who cannot have sex due to certain medical issues?
Yeah.
You know, due to, because there are certain medications out there that make men not able to have, you know, you have erectile dysfunction, you know, different things. You know, are you okay with that as a woman? Because no offense, a man, that is how he shows through sex in a man's mind, some parts, that's how he shows his love for the person that he's with. You know, that's his release. You know, sex is a very powerful thing. And I had to even learn at a young age to separate love and sex. And because for whatever reason in my mind, when I was a young teenage girl, I was like, okay, well, if I have sex, if this person has sex with me, they love me. No, it's an act. It's an experience. It is what it is. Put it in its proper like I said, now I'm grown and old, and now I thank God for help. Thank God for being taught right. But those are dangerous things. Can you honestly, you know, we talk about it, but in sickness and in health, this is a part about health. You know, if my husband can't, you know, perform in that way, can I still love him? Can I still do things to him? You know, vice versa. You know, you might have to become creative. You might, you know, he already feels bad. You know, if you have a husband that can't, trust me, it's very damaging to his ego to not being able to perform. He doesn't need a woman making him feel worse than what he probably already feels. You know, some men don't feel great about having to take Viagra. Some men, you know, I've heard of some men that won't take. I know certain, you know, but being funny, but certain men, I've heard certain men won't take certain medicines, like blood pressure medicines that they need because they want to still satisfy their wife because they'll feel less than. Women, you got to be a woman of wisdom to say, you know what, is that all? Because if his penis is all, something's wrong.
I started laughing when you said that because, like, when you said we would rather not take the blood pressure medicine because it's gonna affect, you know, cause
Erectile dysfunction and different things.
Like, we would rather die. Like, we would rather die than to give up our erection. Like, seriously, like.
I mean, y'all think about what sex. I mean, it's a scientific fact. Y'all think about sex 95% of the day.
Yeah, I think it's like we think men think about sex 90% of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Jesus, you know, we think about women. We think about now. There may be a few women that may be like that. I have not met her yet. Yeah. I would love to meet you, but we think about so many other different things. And I will say this too: there's more than one way to have intimacy with your spouse.
Yeah.
Everything is not going to be found laying on your back, and if you think it is, something's wrong. There's more than one way to be intimate, to be sexual with your spouse than just having sex.
Yeah.
Penetration. There's other ways that you can show you can please your spouse. There's other ways. Learn them, become creative. This is what you got until you die. So enjoy the party. Discover the party. Get some books on the party. But you be honest about it, and be honest about like we said before, sexually transmitted diseases, sexual past hurt, rapes, abuse. Talk about those things.
What you expect.
If you thinking that you're going to come in doing it every day, God bless you. Amen. And I will say this, and I'm going to joke about it, but even on your wedding night, people, they have really felt intense pressure if they don't do it on their wedding night. Sometimes you are so tired.
You're tired after that day. You are tired after that day.
Your mind is going 50 miles an hour. For some of you all, you may just pray that you got down that aisle because you were so nervous and so scared. Don't make that one night so overly. Don't have certain expectation like this man about to go to the moon and to see the stars. Don't do that to yourself.
We hit that Marriott bed when it's sleep. I forget this.
We were like, I'm like, no offense, you ain't going you ain't going nowhere.
I'm like, girl, we're gonna be in Miami tomorrow. We got all
we got 4 days. We can do it on the beach if we want. That was not like, but I do understand for certain young couples that have not, they itching to don't. And then I'll say this, expectations.
Yeah.
Watch out for your expectations. Don't bark so loud that, your bite might not be as big as your bark was. Be humble about this thing.
I'm like, it's all
right. Right. You might not be knocking down no walls like you think you are. Be humble in this game and learn your spouse. Like Carl said, learn what they like, learn what they don't like. Make it pleasurable, make it enjoyable. Don't make it something that has to be dreadful, because it is a beautiful thing when it's done right. When you learn your spouse and what they like, we have a moment of silence.
Anyway, we're wrapping up this part.
So we're going to give the last one.
So we got to question 9. So
we did?
We're gonna
Nah,
we just hit 9.
Oh,
so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make this a 3-part series. Yay! 13 questions to ask before I say I do.
I do.
So we have 4 more questions left. Before we wrap up, we want to make sure that you all follow us on social media, subscribe and like. Yes. Hit that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and also follow us on social media at The Loveless Marriage. On at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, The Loveless Marriage. So we hope you all have a great day. We'll be back next Monday with part 3 of 13 questions before I do. And have a great day.
Great day, everybody.